All right, what's up, everybody? It's 57418, Remy's Daily Drops. Today we got the conspiracy on the Grand Canyon. Might be Egypt. There's so much saying that it is, and so many people are talking about it these days. I had to do a video on it, bro. Let's go ahead and get into this shit. We got the Grand Canyon or ancient Egypt mystery. What do you guys think? Is this the Grand Canyon or could this possibly be ancient Egypt? We're going to dive deep into the subject. Everybody get ready. Let's go.
What if the Grand Canyon isn't just a natural wonder, but a cover for something much older? Most people are told the Grand Canyon is simply the result of erosion over millions of years. But a 1909 newspaper article tells a very different story. According to the article, an explorer named G.E. Kincaid claimed he discovered a hidden cave deep inside the canyon. Not just a cave, a complex filled with statues, tools, and hieroglyphs that closely resembled ancient Egyptian artifacts, carvings, symbols, stone chambers. But here's where it gets unsettling. The Grand Canyon has been studied for centuries, so how could something like this simply disappear? The article claimed the discovery was quickly taken over and never publicly investigated again. Some researchers believe the artifacts weren't Egyptian at all. They suggest they belong to an ancient advanced civilization often associated with the Anunnaki. According to the theory, this same civilization built the pyramids in Egypt and massive structures across North and South America. When they left, they took their technology with them, leaving behind monumental architecture and unanswered questions. Mainstream history dismisses the story, but the article still exists. And until the site is fully explored, one question remains. Is the Grand Canyon hiding more than just layers of rock? Or is it hiding a chapter of human history we were never meant to read?
Is this the Grand Canyon? Or can you see ancient Egypt? Does this look like ancient Egypt to you? Or does that just look like the Grand Canyon?
I can really see how someone.
A lot of people are saying this is Egypt.
It does kind of look like it.
Let me know.
Look how they walking around them, auctioning them off like cattle, laughing, smiling, taking pictures while standing on the heads of gods. These are not decorations. These were your ancestors, your titans, your priest kings, carved into the mountains, buried in the damn canyon. They told you it's just erosion, just sand and wind? No, this here was a city, a temple, a civilization so old and so powerful they had to bury it to control the timeline. The Grand Canyon, that is not a natural crack in the earth. That's the skeleton of a damn empire. Cities carved into walls, domes blasted off, temples renamed Zoroaster and Isis temple-like mythology. No, this was America's Jerusalem, Atlantis, Amexem. They bombed it with water, with fire, reset it, and built fake trails for tourists while setting up surveillance on the real entrances, so they could sit on our thrones. And don't miss this part: Shiva, Buddha, Hanuman, Isis, Horus, all them so-called foreign gods. Why you think their temples and names show up here in America? Because the old world was here. The spiritual capital was here. They just moved the story overseas and left the ruins buried under dirt and lies. Look at these mountains. Look at these faces. These ain't rocks. These are titans. These are ancestors. These are power stations of a black global civilization they tried to erase. Now zoom in on this one. See the face in the stone? That is not pareidolia. That's a giant, a titan. The mountain is the man. Y'all keep looking for your royalty in a museum, in a book, in Egypt. But the throne was always here. They terrified, not just of us talking, not just of us remembering.
Hey, real quick though, man, it does make a lot of sense that America really is the old world though, because just think about it, right? The pyramids date back so far back, man. I feel like the Egyptians didn't build that shit. I feel like that shit was already there. By the time they got there, that shit was already there. But I feel like the Egyptians were a seafaring race. I feel like they had built boats. They had came over here. They they found the Grand Canyon and they were back and forth. I feel like this was Egypt and that was Egypt. You know what I'm saying? You know how like when America first come or Britain first come over here, they was calling the shit Great Britain or New England or whatever because that's where they come from. they found this place, so they get to name it, they get to claim it. It's really part of that. I feel like that's what Egypt had done with America, and the Grand Canyon, bro. It's like one of the wonders of the world, bro. Like, the ancient civilizations had got a hold of that place a long time ago. And why else would they have found Egyptian artifacts in the caves in the Grand Canyon, bro? It only makes sense that America is the old world. They were coming from over there. That's where they from. They're coming over here. They were living here too, bro. It only makes sense.
But if one of us stepping foot back on one of these sites, because they know what we made them out of, they know our energy is living technology, they know our blood holds keys, and they can't know the moment one of us touches the right rock, the whole thing gonna power back on. Just like in Atlantis, Shorty touched a stone, and it wasn't no rock, it was a whole ship. That's what them Grand Canyon temples really are. Power stations, gateways, receivers, portals. You think this just art? No, this was spiritual technology. These heads weren't just statues, they were conduits, energy nodes, Atlantean power centers. They built them in alignment with stars, with the Earth's grid. You're not just looking at stone, you're looking at a motherboard of the planet. And now, look around. Look at who's not allowed in these spaces. Black.
Think about it, bro. The Hoover Dam is right there also, bro. And the Hoover Dam generates so much power. They say there's a portal there. It makes so much sense now that you think about it. We just gotta keep doing this research, man, and connecting the puzzle pieces, man. If we do that, nobody can lie to us no more because we'll know the damn truth. Man, let's get to the bottom of this shit, man.
Folks, indigenous, the same bloodline they tried to wipe out. Ain't that ironic? Ain't that biblical? This is a resurrection story, not a fairy tale. The soil remembers, the stone remembers, and these titans, they waiting on you to remember too. Why you think they named them Temple of Shiva, Temple of Isis, Temple of Horus, Zoroaster, Osiris, Ra, and then told you it's just rock formations? They hoping you never go there. They hoping you never activate it, because they know that land ain't dormant, it's sleeping. And when we show up, it wakes up. That's why they erased our names. That's why they made us forget. That's why they renamed the land, the rivers, the mountains. Because we, the batteries that make the system reboot. This ain't no conspiracy. This is cosmic court in session. This is memory in motion. This is prophecy walking. You buried the truth in the canyon, but guess what? We coming, we touching that stone, and it's gonna open.
All right, we know that the dude Kincaid went in the Grand Canyon and found some Egyptian artifacts a long time ago in 1905, correct? Well, we're going to take a little deeper dive in this video. Moving on. Now, this is a statue of Horus over in Egypt, right? But look at the head. What kind of bird is this on top of his head? You may ask yourself. Moving on. I wonder what this falcon is indigenous to where. Once common in the southwestern U.S., it disappeared due to habitat loss and pesticides, but it is now the focus of reintroduction efforts in Texas and New Mexico, where it hunts birds and insects in grassland and savannas, often in pairs. So it's native to the southwestern states. Moving on. This is a picture of the ancient Atlantean Thoth in ancient Egypt, where he brought all the knowledge from Atlantis to Egypt, right? Now, you know how they always depict him as having green, like green skin or a green head? Well, look at this bird. You see it? And it's green, correct? Moving on. Oh, right here we have the green ibis. Is a dark, glossy, green wading bird found in Central and South American wetlands. Central and South American wetlands. It's indigenous, not in the Middle East. Look at the color. Same color as Thoth's head and skin. Look, the same bird. Moving on. Oh, looky here. We got one of the pharaoh's dogs. This is one from ancient Egypt in the glass case in some museum. Look at it for a minute. Oh, moving on. Oh, look, the same dog, the Mexican hairless dog. I don't know how to say that. I'm not even finna say that name. Is an ancient breed from Mexico. Is an ancient breed from Mexico, revered by Aztecs and Mayans, known for its hairless, warm skin, though a coat variety also exists. Looks like the same dog to me. And all of these animals are indigenous to the what? To the United States. Or to America. Yeah. We're going to start using the real name. All right, moving on. Now we got a picture of the Mississippi River. Now let's count the rivers coming off the main stream. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Counting the main stream. Moving on. Yes, Isaiah 11:15 states, "And the Lord shall utterly destroy the tongue of the Egyptian sea, and with his mighty wind shall he shake his hand over the river, and shall smite in the seven streams, and make men go over dry shod." Is this enough for you at this point? Moving on. Now, this is a picture of the Grand Canyon. They show 3 temples, right? The Shiva Temple, Isis Temple, Cheops Temple. I want you to focus on that top half right there. See that top half? Yeah, we about to get real serious. Moving on. Now, this is the top of the Isis Temple. What does that look like? I think I just found something, y'all. Straight up, look. What does this look like? Oh, I got even a closer shot. Moving on. Oh my goodness. Would you look at that? Ooh. What do my eyes see? I see eyes, a nose, a mouth, and the cheeks, and a headdress around this face on top of the Isis Temple in the Grand Canyon. Y'all can't tell me this ain't no face on top of this temple in the Grand Canyon. Is right here. I found this for y'all. I found it finally. Here goes your proof. Here goes your proof, man. Moving on. Now, how old is the Isis Temple? Isis Temple in the Grand Canyon is a massive geologic formation rather than a man-made structure. Blah, blah, blah. I just proved to you that it is a man-made structure with this rock layers dating from the Permian period down to the whatever that is, hundreds of millions to over 1 billion years old. While it is a natural landmark, a 3,600-year-old split twig figurine was discovered nearby. So they found a 36-year-old figurine nearby. But this is how old all this is, bruh. Listen, the proof in the pudding. Stop playing with us. Stop playing with our history. We know who we are. I just found this in the Grand Canyon. Western philosophy, shut the fuck down. Everybody have a nice day.
The 1909 article in the Arizona Gazette published front page story about an Egyptian cave in the Grand Canyon containing vast, sophisticated, and ancient artifacts including statues of deities. The findings, the alleged unverified discovery, included a large cavern complex, mummies, some described as giants, and tablets with hieroglyphics similar to ancient Egyptian and Tibetan scripts.
This is the Temple of Ra, found in the Grand Canyon. Artifacts the Smithsonian say never existed were supposedly found by John Powell and K.E. Kincaid. These are hieroglyphics supposedly found in John Powell's cave. This is the Temple of Isis. There was also a golden Egyptian tablet supposedly found there with some sort of cuneiform language on the tablet. The temples of Ra, Osiris, Horus, and Set sit right amongst each other in the Grand Canyon. These are the supposed caves that was found with the artifacts in them. There was also a Hindu amphitheater there, And this artifact was so-called found there also. It's real ironic, huh? We know the truth now.
In 1908, President Teddy Roosevelt sought to protect the Grand Canyon from timber and mining operations.
What do you mean?
Explorer G.E. Kincaid, anticipating the closure, mounted an expedition to the area to find minerals. But what he discovered there
Shout out to G.E.
was something
Kincaid.
completely unexpected. Approximately 40 miles upriver from El Tovar Crystal Canyon, Kincaid observed unusual sediment stains, and upon investigation found a cavern entrance with steps leading to it, suggesting a man-made structure.
Go ahead, bro. Go
Inside, Kincaid found writings on the walls not in English or Native American scripts, but in ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics.
That's crazy, bro.
This finding suggested a historical connection far beyond local or known civilizations. The cave system revealed a vast underground city, estimated to house up to 50,000 people, complete with granaries, cooking areas, and artifacts, indicating a sophisticated society with knowledge of metalwork and possibly agriculture. Among the findings were granaries with preserved seeds, tools made of copper indicating a lost art of hardening the metal, and various artifacts that pointed to a technologically advanced civilization. The complexity of the cave system with engineered passageways and rooms challenged contemporary understandings of ancient civilizations in North America. Kincaid's findings led to a Smithsonian expedition led by Professor S.A. Jordan.
Bro, I might have just figured it out, right? All right, check this out. We know about cataclysms, right? Say a cataclysm was popping off. And they always was talking about build a boat, blah, 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 build something, dig some holes, save yourself, save your family, all that shit, right? Okay. People from Egypt, there was some survivors from over there. Whatever had happened, say the world flooded, right? Some of them survivors from Egypt was on a boat. And when the water receded, they was over here. They receded maybe inside of the Grand Canyon, right? And they had artifacts with them. Okay. They don't know where the fuck they at. They don't know where they at. So they go and put all their important shit up in the cave somewhere in the Grand Canyon, right? And so forth and so on. Whatever happened, what happened, they die. Artifacts stuck there in the Grand Canyon until G.E. Kincaid comes along and finds them. What do y'all think about that one? Yeah, no, yeah, let me know.
Which further explored the cave system, uncovering a central chamber with a statue resembling Buddha, hinting at a cultural amalgamation or influence from distant lands. The artifacts and the layout of the cave suggested a deliberate, sophisticated design, contradicting the notion of an isolated or primitive local civilization. Despite significant discoveries, mainstream researchers and the Smithsonian have labeled the account as a hoax and dismissing the claims of an advanced civilization predating Native Americans in the Grand Canyon, and the possibility of ancient transoceanic contacts that might have influenced pre-Columbian American civilizations.
Bro, I just said that shit.
Any and all attempts to further explore or validate Kincaid's findings face governmental restrictions,
And I don't watch
with
these
areas
videos
off
before I put
limits
them
for
on here, bro.
exploration.
I watched them for the first time with you
This
guys.
remarkable discovery aligns with local tribal legends, such as those of the Hopi, suggesting a historical basis for tales of ancient peoples and non-human entities emerging from the Grand Canyon, blending myth with tangible archaeological intrigue.
Alright, welcome back to part 2. Perhaps one day I'll get to go to the Grand Canyon and look this up myself, but the map doesn't lie. The Smithsonian didn't just deny the artifacts, they denied Kincaid ever existed. But if the discovery was a hoax, why is the Grand Canyon still littered with the names of Egyptian gods? As you move deeper into the restricted zones, you find the Tower of Ra, the Temple of Set, and the Cheops Pyramid. These aren't just creative nicknames, they are markers for a history that doesn't officially exist. According to Kincaid's original 1909 account, the entrance to the citadel was nearly 2,000 feet above the riverbed. Inside, he described a massive hall where hundreds of rooms radiated from a central chamber, filled with copper tools, granaries, and mummies wrapped in linen. These weren't artifacts from local tribes, these were relics of the Nile. If an Egyptian colony once thrived in the Grand Canyon, where'd they go? Try to find these sites today, and you run into a wall. Modern explorers report unmarked black helicopters patrolling the North Rim and no-fly zones that encompass the very areas that Kincaid mapped out. The National Park Service claims these closures are for biological protection, yet the military-grade surveillance suggests they are guarding something far more valuable. The 1909 Arizona Gazette article wasn't a tabloid rumor either, it was actual front-page news. That article named a specific professor, S.A. Jordan, of the Smithsonian. Yet search the Smithsonian's official records today, and Jordan's name has been completely scrubbed. Why go to such lengths to erase a man unless he found something that threatened the very foundation of human history? Could there have been an ancient Egypt in the American West? It changes everything. Don't just look at this map and see a park. Look closer and see a vault. Is the record loss a coincidence, or is the canyon a tomb for the truth? Tell me what you guys think. I've never been to the Grand Canyon. If you have, let me know. And I'll catch you in the next rabbit hole. Stay curious.
The Grand Canyon features numerous natural rock formations like Cheops Pyramid and the Tower of Ra that look strikingly like Egyptian structures, fueling theories of a lost ancient civilization or underground city. Proponents believe these sites are hidden, artificial, and officially suppressed, citing specifically named monuments as clues. The Egyptian naming conventions in the early 20th century, explorers and geologists gave many of these peaks names from Egyptian, Hindu, and Greek mythology due to their strikingly grand appearance.
What if the history of America is a complete fabrication designed to hide a global ancient empire? In 1909, an explorer allegedly discovered a massive Egyptian city carved into the remote walls of the Grand Canyon, and the government has kept that area off limits ever since. Based on a report from the Arizona Gazette, explorer G.E. Kincaid stumbled upon a hidden entrance 500 feet above the Colorado River. Inside, he described a sprawling underground citadel filled with mummies, copper tools, and walls covered in distinct Egyptian hieroglyphs. He claimed the site was large enough to house 50,000 people, but immediately after the discovery, the Smithsonian Institution allegedly intervened, seized all artifacts, and restricted access to the site. Today, huge sections of the Grand Canyon are designated as forbidden zones, strictly guarded by federal agents with no-fly restrictions. Why? Because the existence of an Egyptian colony in North America, thousands of years before Columbus, would shatter the official narrative of human migration and the origins of our civilization. If an ancient global empire was already here, why is the evidence being wiped from our textbooks? Comment vault if you want the truth revealed. Follow this page for more suppressed history and share this video to break the silence.
We know the truth now here. I want you guys to listen real closely, because I'm finna get real deep and real biblical about America. Let's keep going. Check this out. This was identified as the Shrine of Setterprin. This was supposedly found in Powell's Cave in the Grand Canyon. The Shrine of Setterprin. Now let's see who Setterprin ancestors is. Let's keep going. Okay, the Shrine of Setterprin in the Grand Canyon. Let's see who his ancestors is. Akhenaten, the recorded ruler in Egypt from 1353 to 1336. His son, Setterprin, was also an Egyptian ruler in the Grand Canyon. What the fuck? Let's keep going. That last part was crazy, man. But let's keep going, man. We gotta stay focused. We gotta stay focused.
Wake up,
okay.
Man.
This one was said to be found, supposedly, in Kincaid's cave, right? Egyptian relic. Egyptian king named Khayan. Now let's see who his ancestors is. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's go back. There is no doubt about the identification for Khayan, or that he was a descendant of King Zopnath in Egypt, who was Joseph in the Bible. Let's see what Joseph did in the Bible, guys. Let's keep going. Now let's get biblical. This is Genesis verse 45 through 49. Pharaoh called Joseph Zaphnath. That's the name I just showed you. Now look at 49. And Joseph gathered corn as the sand of the seas very much until he left numbering, for it was without number. Joseph, corn, America, Grand Canyon. I'm done, man. That's enough for y'all, man. We know the truth now. Fuck.
All right, y'all. I mean, I could have made this video a lot longer, but I'm gonna bring a part two because this topic is very, very interesting. But you know, we can get deep into this one, man. Grand Canyon, Egypt. I love Egypt, bro. I love India. I love ancient history. I'm all for that shit, bro. So let me know how y'all like this video. If y'all want to see a part two, let me know. I'm gonna drop him quick. You know what I'm saying? I'll probably bring him the next day or two. But you gotta let me know, man. Subscribe to the channel. Let's do this, bro. Let's get to the bottom of this shit, bro. And like I say, live for today, cause tomorrow ain't promised. Holla. We got the Grand Canyon or ancient Egypt mystery. What do you guys think? Is this the Grand Canyon?